Good evening, everybody. The music fan is here. I can be mean, I can be angry, I hate everything about you, but most importantly, I am bringing music to the masses. And if you didn't understand any of those references, tonight on Are You In, I'll be reviewing the newest album from 3 Days Grace entitled Outsider. Now, if you don't know who this band is, it is a hard rock slash alt rock slash post-grunge band from Ontario, Canada. The members include Brad Walst on bass guitar and backing vocals, Neil Sanderson on drums and backing vocals, Barry Stock on lead guitar, and Matt Walst on lead vocals and rhythm guitar. Their previous albums include 3 Days Grace, 1X, Life Starts Now, Transit the Venus, and Human. Now, it's crazy to me to think that they have had 6 albums now. I remember when they came out, I remember watching them on MTV with I Hate Everything About You and being curious because I really like the sound. I really remember Adam Gontier's Mohawk at that time, and I really got into them with songs like I Hate Everything About You, Just Like You, Animal I've Become, Wake Up, Home, all these really interesting songs. And I finally got to listen to the first 2 albums. Really liked them. Solid albums for 3 Days Grace and 1X. Really solid albums. Then Life Starts Now came out in 2009, and I remember getting that album, I think either for Christmas or for my birthday, and enjoying it, but not as much as I did the other 2. It felt a little bit more experimental on their side, and it just felt weird on some of the actual arrangements, but I liked the ideas that they were coming out with. And when I heard Transit the Venus was coming out in 2012, I was so excited. I listened to all the teaser tracks. I was really excited by the growth it seemed like this band had, and it did not disappoint. I really like that album. Personally, it's my favorite album of theirs. It made my top 25 list of 2012. And, I was really excited to see where this band would go. Unfortunately, after that album, Adam Gontier left the band to do his own solo work and start a new band. And replacing him was Matt Walst, who at that time was from My Darkest Days. Heard of the band, never listened to them. But, I gave him a chance with Human, and I was left disappointed. It was a lot more simplistic. Matt Walst didn't seem to fit the style that they had. His voice was too light for everything else around him. And it was a very disappointing album to me. But I heard Mountain from this newest album, and I wasn't necessarily really excited for the album, but I heard a little bit more development in Walst's voice, and it made me curious to check it out. So, what do I think of this new album? Well, there are some positives. Matt Walst does sound much better on this album than he does in the previous one. His voice seems to have grown and has gained a lot more power, which helps it mesh with the music that is being played. It's not to the levels of Grantier, but it is a more commendable voice than his previous album with Humans. And it does make for some more interesting songs. Right, Left, Wrong is a pretty good opener. It has a lot of interesting parts in the chorus, and there's a nice bridge to it. It's this slow, chunky pace that you're used to on a lot of 3 Days Grace's songs, but with his power, it gives it a little bit more of an edge, as if he was singing before on the other album. The Mountain, not a bad single. It's not it's not different from anything else that 3 Days Grace has done, and honestly, it's probably one of their weaker ones in general, but it's commendable for a motivational song. Songs like Infrared, The Abyss, Villain I'm Not, even the new Real, his voice brings a lot more to the table, and it makes some of these a little lackluster arrangements a little bit better. My personal favorites on here, Infrared, has a lot of fun energy to it. I really like the chorus. I really like the dual, like the different guitar parts on there. There's one that's just really rhythmic, and then there's like a little bit of a noodling, arpeggiated guitar in the middle of the chorus. And it even has a nice bridge to it as well. My personal favorite, The Abyss, is the last song on the album. This very slow-paced song that builds up. There's a lot of interesting harmonies. The chorus is really interesting to me in comparison to everything else on the album. There's some nice little jumps in the melody, and it even built a little bit more to this high B that he's screaming at the end. And I just really like the energy and the arrangement of that song. Villain, I'm not really a like a standout in terms of an arrangement, but it does have a lot of really good energy to it. The New Real, fun, trashy song about social media age. Even Strange Days, a nice, fun, apocalyptic kind of feel to it. But honestly, that's where like the positives stop. A lot of these songs are very mediocre. It doesn't really bring much to the table that 3 Days Grace has not done already. Either it's just not memorable, or so songs like Love Me or Leave Me, it's alright. It has a very sedated feel to it, but again, not really memorable. Nothing to Lose But You, kind of the same way. The chorus is pretty bland, even though it has a nice little build-up. I'm an Outsider, probably the most blandest song on the album. Me Against You has some nice parts, but the chorus is really annoying, and so are the vocals to me. Chasing the First Time, another painfully average song. A lot of these songs are pretty mediocre at points. And there might be one or two songs that really stand out, if anything. But again, it's not an album that's very memorable. I literally just listened to it again, and I'm having a hard time remembering some of the songs. And that just might be because of the bland lyrics, the not really memorable lyrics in general, and not really memorable music when I think of the stuff from 3 Days Grace, from the stuff from 1X, from the stuff from Transit to Venus. This doesn't even touch it at all. I'll say it's better than Humans, but that's basically it. I can't really I can't really say that it's better than anything else that 3 Days Grace has brought out. I commend Matt Walst's vocals, and see that he is trying a little bit harder. I see that there are some interesting arrangements at points, but I just wish that there wasn't so much mediocrity and so much things that are just like the point where it feels like everything is kind of the same, and there isn't really something to like glean from it. There isn't those songs that you can be like, okay, this is really cool. This is where the monotony breaks up. Other than on The Abyss, in all honesty, and Infrared. But then everything else kind of feels same-ish. And that's a problem when you're trying to listen to an full album. I honestly, even though The Abyss is good, I wouldn't listen to this album again. The singles aren't good. And honestly, there isn't really much value to this album. I would say stay away from it. Even though The Abyss is nice, it's not worth it to go through the whole entire thing. Maybe just listen to that song, but that would be it. But I am curious to see where this band can go, because it was better than Human, and that's all I can give it. But that is my time, and I know this was a short album review, but again, not much really to say about this album. Let me know what you think about this one, though. If you do like it, tell me why. If you agree with me, let me know. And of course, let me know about other albums you would like me to review. And subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, and just keep watching my videos. On Friday, I will finally have part 6 of the Diving Through the Artistry with Linkin Park. And Sunday, I might have an even worse album that I'm reviewing, but I will let you know what that is on Sunday. So until then, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.